Folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead, the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. We're back in the kitchen today, and we're going to be mixing up some herbs to make a tea blend. And I wanted to bring you along with. While you're at it, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and click the like button, of course, if you like the video. And go ahead and subscribe. And off to the side of the subscribe button, there's the little bell that you can get the notifications, because even though you subscribe to a channel on YouTube, it does not mean that you get notifications. You have to request that you get notifications so that you can stay up to date on any video that we put out. So, and as I go along and talk about some of these herbs, I will have links below in the description so that you can look at the different herbs. That way you don't have to kind of write them down or try to remember as I go along. So, and there'll be other things in the description. If you want to sign up to our newsletter, our website, you can go there and read other articles we put out. But anyways, this is a blend that my wife uses a lot. I use also, but this is something that she's pretty die-hard about on using and taking daily. And it is called a calcium tea blend. This blend, although it's not the exact recipe, was made famous by Dr. Christopher, a very well-known herbalist. This is kind of our own little take on it. And you can do something similar to this if you would like, but you should also do the research on each one of these herbs to make sure that they're the right fit for you, that there's not some kind of interaction with anything else that you're doing in your life, and to make sure that you feel safe taking them. Again, this is not any type of medical advice or information. This video is just for entertainment and purposes and a little education only. So I am not a physician and this is not medical advice. So let's get on to it. Now, when we make this, we make a large batch because it's something that all of us in the household drink, not every day, but just about every day. And my wife and I try to drink it every day. But the kids and stuff, they'll drink it from time to time because it's really good. It's referred to as a calcium tea, but there are other benefits to it. The thing is with calcium that a lot of people don't realize is that if you're not taking the right things to add with that calcium, meaning magnesium, you can take as much calcium as you want, and it's not really doing you any good. You have to have magnesium to work with the calcium so that it kind of absorbs in and is properly used in your body. And that's the big thing that this tea blend does, is it builds calcium and magnesium in your system, and it helps your body support that. There are other benefits to each one of these herbs, and I won't go into great detail because that would make for a very lengthy video, but I will mention them and you can kind of look them up and see. So what we have here is horsetail. This is the first one. And then we have oat straw. Then we have comfrey root, and we also have hawthorn berries. This is the blend that we typically use. You can also mix in some red raspberry leaf, which is more specifically for women. So if it's something that if you ladies out there, you want to make a blend just for you, you can add that in. It's not absolutely required. There's a little benefit for men with red raspberry leaf, but it's mostly, very beneficial to women. You can also add stinging nettle, which we have done at times. You can add lobelia, but in very small amounts. So there are some variations to this recipe, but this is the one that we typically go with. So to show you the amounts, on the horsetail, we go with 2 pounds. And like I said, we make a pretty big batch. So we go with 2 pounds of horsetail, 1 pound of oat straw, 2 pounds of comfrey root, and 1 pound of hawthorn berries. Of course, you can make it in smaller batches and using those approximate ratios. Now, what we do is we throw it all in some bags here. Make sure you don't use any kind of scented trash bags or anything, and these are clean. We put it all in there and we mix it up. And then what I will do at a later time is separate some of that. And I'm not sure on the amounts yet that I'm going to do this time, but I am going to tincture a good amount of it and then save the rest for tea. Now, how much do you drink? A lot of people ask. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I cannot advise you on what you should do, but I tell you what we do. Generally around here for us adults, we usually drink a full glass of it, which would, end up being probably between a 16 and 20 ounce glass. And in that glass, we let the tea steep. I'll get it out here right. We use a French press, and so it works out to be almost a quart, actually. So probably a little bit more than 16 to 20 ounces now that I think about it. But anyways, we use about a 1 full cup scoop of herb into the French press, and then fill that French press up with hot water. We usually let it steep for at least 2 hours, which is considered an infused tea, rather than just your typical 5 to 10 minute steeping, which is where you're going to get most of your just flavor out of a plant. When you do an infused tea where you let it steep for at least 2 hours, you're really getting in there and getting more of the medicine out of the tea. And then we drink that whole amount that's in our type of French press, which, like I said, it's less than a quart. Honestly, I haven't checked the amount of ounces in it, but I would say probably 24 ounces, maybe a little less, a little bit more. We take 1 cup of the tea mixture and we put it in our French press, fill it with hot water, like I said, and it sets for 2 hours, at least 2 hours before we drink it. Now, those of you that do not like herbs that don't taste well, unfortunately, this particular one doesn't have the best flavor. It's not gross, it just doesn't have the best flavor. And so if you're sensitive to that, you can always add a couple of tea bags of mint, which is what I do for the kids a lot of times. We'll add a little mint to it to kind of flavor it. But for those of you die-hard herbalists like myself, my wife, you don't worry about how it tastes. You're drinking it for medicine, right? Anyways, so what are some of the benefits? A lot of great benefits, but to name a few, things like hair, nails, teeth, your bones, joints. For those of you that have arthritis, this could be something good. If you have teeth problems, I know several people that have had like a cracked tooth and they've had pain, and then they start drinking this, and it helps that ease up because it can add calcium in that area. So there's a lot of benefits in that area. Especially for those that just kind of have achy joints. This can certainly help that because it brings in that calcium and magnesium into those areas. The hawthorn berries are also a diuretic, so it can help in that area. And then there's also some individual benefits to these other herbs. Now, this one has comfrey root in it, and comfrey root is not recommended by the FDA to take internally because it's carcinogenic. A typical serving of comfrey root tea has about the same carcinogenic level as a light beer, say a Bud Light beer. So it's not to be taken internally, and if you choose to do that, that's your own business. We've done the research and we feel it's safe, but that is something that I would encourage you to do the research on your own. So let's go ahead and start mixing this stuff up so that you can see how it works. And now, all of this stuff you can get from Amazon, you can get on other sites, and you know what? I didn't bring, and I don't even have a pocket knife on me. That tells you how good and prepared I am for this. There are other sites that you can get these from. Like I said, I'll leave some links below. You don't have to buy from there, but at least you can kind of look the products up and see what I'm talking about. And then if you choose to buy, you can buy from your own site or wherever. So right now I'm mixing in the horsetail, and that's the largest amount. That's or it's going to take up the most bulk. So 2 pounds of horsetail. And then 1 pound of oat straw. Oat straw is a nervine, and it can act as a mild pain reliever. I make another tea that I use for back pain that requires oat straw, and I've had a lot of good results using that, mixing it with, especially with other pain relieving type herbs, nervine herbs. Now the comfrey root. 2 pounds of that. And last but not least, try not to spill anything and make a mess because I'm really good at that. We have the hawthorn berries. We're gonna mix the hawthorn berries in there. All right, so we've got it all mixed up and it's pretty simple. You just kind of mix it up like this. And it's a lot. I know you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, that's a lot. Well, when you're drinking, a quart of this a day, you're in the household the size of ours, we're going through several quarts a day, which is why we also do a tincture. You mix it up, double bag it just in case it gets hole poked in it. And you'll be surprised. This will probably, if we just did a tea with this, it might last us, 3 or 4 months, I think. And it's just easier and it's cheaper to buy it in bulk. If you want to go and you buy the small amounts, that's fine. But as much as we drink it, it's much cheaper to just, go ahead and buy it in the big 1 pound bags and make a whole bunch all at once. Now, I want to add, my wife wants me to remember, on the comfrey, it has to be the root. The root and the leaf have different compositions. And for this recipe, it needs to be the root. It definitely helps with teeth. We've used it with our children with teeth, and I've had some really good benefits with that. So she's standing right over here, but she won't get behind the camera, in front of the camera. Maybe someday we'll get her. It'll help, yes, it'll help with joints, aches and pains, things like that. So this is our calcium tea. If you want some more information, you can Google calcium tea. You can look up Dr. Christopher's calcium tea. This is very similar to his recipe. And there's a lot of information out there, and it's quite a well-known tea blend for herbalists. All right, go ahead. One more thing she's telling me.
The hawthorn berry?
The hawthorn berry is a diuretic, is that?
It's good properties for the heart.
Yes, it's very good for the heart, and that's part of its diuretic properties. And she's talking about the hawthorn berries. They have a lot of good things in them for the heart, along with it helping as a diuretic. All right, go ahead and like and subscribe if you would. And like I said, in the description below, there'll be some more information about these herbs. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.